You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello!
This is Matt.
And Emily from Scarecrow Video in Seattle, Washington. Did you know that we have the largest video collection in the world? We have over 146,000 titles and growing. That's over 3 times more than Netflix, Amazon, Max, and Hulu combined.
Plus, Scarecrow now offers rent-by-mail service throughout the U.S., so check out scarecrowvideo.org for details. You can catch Emily and I, or Matt and I, if that was going to be you saying that, on our bi-weekly YouTube show, Viva Physical Media, for video recommendations and so much more.
See ya!
Bye!
Hello there, and welcome back to the official Deaf Crocodile podcast. This is the first podcast episode for the second half of 2026. Welcome to Gregory J. Rogers and Mr. Dennis Field Bartok. This has been an amazing first half of 2026. Can't wait to break into this. Hope you both are doing well. But first, we have a newish special guest, Chris Sanko, who's never been on the podcast before. Chris, welcome.
Who let this interloper in? Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
For those that don't know, Chris is the social media guru for all of Deaf Crocodile. Glad to have you here. But yeah, Dennis, Craig, how we doing? How are you?
I can't get over you said Gregory. I'm going to be calling him Gregory from now on.
Unfortunately, lots of people call me that, and I don't know why.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought I was being novel, so now I'll stop.
I'm wondering
really
what
funny.
the J stands for, though.
Jehoshaphat, last I heard.
So yeah, well, I'm just looking at everyone's what's behind everyone in their screens, which no one else can see. You're listening to a podcast, but behind Ryan, appropriately, is a bunch of movies, and behind me is a bunch of movies, and behind Chris, it's a bunch of books.
See,
I know.
the life
If
of the mind.
If any of those books are good,
Again, who
we'll
let
make
this
it into a
interloper in here?
movie.
That's true. Yeah. Thin Thighs in 30 Days, the movie. It's coming out soon. Yep. Yeah, this is my dining room. This is, as you will be unsurprised to find, I have as much of a book problem as I have a Blu-ray problem as I have a music problem. So even in our dining room, we have hundreds of books looking over at us while we eat.
I think that's a wonderful thing. It reminds me when first time I went to visit my late great friend Max Rosenberg, who was co-founder of Amicus Films, who produced Dr. Terror's House of Horrors and Torture Garden and the original Tales from the Crypt film and all these wonderful anthology horror films. And his apartment in L.A. was filled floor to ceiling with bookshelves everywhere you looked. No movie posters, no memorabilia from, his many years producing great films. No, books. And every room was packed with books. And clearly that was the great passion of Max's life. And he told me he wanted desperately to do an adaptation of Joyce's The Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, directed by John Huston, which unfortunately didn't happen. But I think Max would have been so happy if he could have made sort of great art house adaptations of wonderful modern literary classics. But instead, we got, Horror Hotel Just Ring for Doom service. She's very proud of that tagline, and he made some wonderful films. But I think he dreamed of adapting great classics.
Is that the Tales from the Crypt that came out in the 70s?
Yeah.
I just got that disc in the mail today.
It's very good.
Nice.
Beautiful. Well, as a mea culpa, I actually went to Half Price Books this weekend and found a couple movie books. So one I found out was that the poet and biographer Carl Sandburg was apparently a movie critic back in the 1920s. So I got a whole collection of Carl Sandburg's thoughts on the silent cinema, including what he thought of people like Theda Bara and Nazimova and other screen vamps. He wanted us to know that the summer of the vamp was coming back, which is very exciting. And then I got a book about B movies with the wonderful subtitle, How Low Was My Budget?
You have to post some of Carl Sandburg's thoughts on silent cinema.
I will, absolutely.
You got to post those on social media. Those I would actually love to. I got to find something that would match it up. Absolutely. But yeah, it's a cool book.
This is awesome. I love the start of this conversation. I know of, just to throw out another fun fact, I guess, at least 2 different directors that are in the LA area that literally they both have entire apartments dedicated to home video. And at least one of them I've seen, and the other one they've also told me that they've got like all of their kitchen cabinets in that apartment are literally full of DVDs and Blu-rays. It is wild.
That's definitely when you realize you have a problem.
Wow.
Yes.
I had an old coworker that kept his books in the oven, which just to me seems like such a fire hazard. He's like, I'm never cooking. Why wouldn't
he
I?
obviously doesn't cook.
No.
How do they taste? That's what I want to know. Yeah. How do those books taste?
And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 bookcases full. Granted, a lot of them are graphic novels, but a lot of the other books, like I tend to read nonfiction. Fiction doesn't usually grab me. So for fiction stuff, I always tell people, I'm like, yeah, like I said to Chris, like if it's good enough, they'll make a movie. And then everyone who sees the movie always says, oh, you know, the book was better. I was like, well, then don't read the book. And you haven't got to worry about being disappointed.
Oh,
I like that logic.
Philistine.
I don't subscribe to it, but I like it. I like hearing it.
Silas' dad is a Philistine. Oh, that's hilarious. I love it.
Oh man. Well, let's break into a short interview portion. Chris, how's it been managing social media for the incredibly esteemed Deaf Crocodile for the year of 2026?
It's been an absolute blast. It's been a massive learning curve. Thank you for everyone who has indulged all my trials and errors. But it seems like we're really kind of hitting a good stride in terms of getting people really excited about upcoming releases here. And I think some of the key was, I'm sort of a maximalist. If you've seen my early posts, you will be unsurprised. Everything, I crowd the frame with every piece of data because I'm perpetually unsure if I've given enough information to get people excited. And Dennis helpfully was like, just show the video. Just show the video.
You have more than one piece of information and you've lost people.
Yeah,
that's true.
Exactly.
Sometimes even with one.
And even that one, it can't be a long sentence.
Yeah. From now on, I'm just going to jingle my keys.
Exactly.
But it's been a blast. It's been really exciting to, especially with the recent subscription rollout, to just hear how many commenters say, "Oh my God, I saw this when I was 9 years old. I never ever thought I'd see it on home video. Oh, I've only heard about this in legend. I can't believe it." Or even, "I can't wait to retire my cruddy bootleg DVD of this and finally have a nice version." So, you get a lot of good feeling that way, and it really kind of keeps things exciting.
I got to ask, what do you think has been the most surprising to you that was very popular or got a lot of clicks or impressions or engagement from everybody?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty recent.
Excluding the Russian bots.
Okay, well, all right. Well, you just gave me my answer. So I put a 30-second clip from Hoffmaniata up there, and put what I thought were pretty common hashtags: Soyuz film and ETA Hoffman and Russian cinema. And yeah, that video has something like 8,000 likes and counting. Now, by comparison, most of our posts have about 200 to 300. So what it was about that, all I can say is every single thing I do with Hoffmaniata, I copy those hashtags in exactly, because if there's a magic formula in there somewhere, we just have to keep casting that spell.
Do it for every post moving forward.
Absolutely.
Demigod, the same hashtags. High up Ka, same hashtag.
High up Ka as put out by Soyuz Malt Film.
That's right.
I think we had a quite a long while ago. We had I think it was a Kinzaza post on Instagram that just went absolutely bonkers, and we're like, what the heck? And yeah, it's
yeah. Oh, similarly, I posted
it only happens to Russian films, so that's a little suspicious.
Wonder what that means.
They love good cinema. That's what it means.
Exactly.
Russian bots love good movies.
They're like, I like glove puppetry, but I love stop motion from Russia. There's a difference. I only, I have so many likes to give,
I mean, how do you argue with bots? That's the hard part.
Oh boy, you just asked the question of the 21st century. How do you argue with bots?
Well, if you read the disconnected comments, you can find out how pretty quickly.
Surprisingly, though, even those posts that clearly are blowing up unnaturally, it still ends up reaching more people because there's legitimate comments on those.
It's a snowball
posts.
effect.
Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely. So not gonna mess with that too much. I'm just gonna see if we can figure out ways to spread it around a little bit.
Well, we are doing our best to get at least slightly ahead of the game for the month of July when we are announcing pre-orders we're in June announcing pre-orders for July, and this is earlier than usual. So at the day that you're listening to this, the subscription period is over, and we did very well, ? We don't know. For all we know, lots of stuff can happen over the next week. But we did want to say thank you all for supporting. It's been immensely encouraging and exciting to see the same number of people commenting and engaging on posts, to subscribing, to being happy about what's coming in, to then possibly subscribing again. So how do we feel we're doing in 2026 in this economy, as those people in the memes would say right now?
I think we're doing great. I think we're doing really, really well. I have to say, I love the Discord. For anyone who subscribes, we have a private Discord where people can post suggestions for films, or questions of like, why haven't you released this yet? Or, where is my order? Or, this is one of my favorite records of the past couple months, or this is photos of my cats and dogs, or all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's really wonderful. We post photographs and artwork that is upcoming for some of our future releases, and all sorts of special things just for the Discord group members. But it's become a really wonderful community. And there are some amazing characters on that Discord who we only know them by their nom de plumes, their nom de discords, but you immediately kind of recognize them when they jump in, and it's become a wonderful family, I have to say. We love interacting with our audience members and supporters on the Discord. So if you're thinking about subscribing, I have to say that is one of the big bonuses of a subscription.
One of my favorite parts. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I would say the breadth and depth of film knowledge in the Discord is, I gotta say, like, unprecedented. Like, I don't know if I've ever been in such an Algonquin roundtable of film fanatics. Like, it just, it really staggers the mind, every single day. Why not this, and this? And it's just a list of absolute, hieroglyphics to me. And I'm like, wow.
That wish list channel is full of like 95% of that stuff I've never heard of.
People always ask and a
lot of it sounds really good. I'm like, oh shit, we need to look for that.
100%. Yeah. I'm like, what have I been doing my whole life watching Jess Franco films when I could check all this stuff out?
Oh, we love Jess Franco.
Don't let's Will
yeah,
cannot
two of us do.
Years ago I tried.
Two of the four people on this call do, I know.
We used to do a recent Spanish cinema series at the American Cinematheque when I was programming there, and I tried to convince our partners, the Spanish government and cultural bodies, to do a tribute to Jess Franco, and they weren't having it. That did not represent sort of quality Spanish cinema to them. And I tried, and of course, he passed away after that. I was hoping we could get him to, come over. But the irony, of course, is that so much of Jess Franco's filmography is now available in beautiful Blu-ray editions. Same thing with Paul Naschy. I try to convince them to, do a tribute to Paul Naschy. And, times really have changed. And physical media has a big role to play in that, with filmmakers who previously were kind of like beyond the pale, like Paul Naschy and Jess Franco, and now they are taken so much more seriously. Jean Rollin is actually one of the filmmakers, I think, whose critical stock has really soared in the past few years as a result of really high quality first DVD and now Blu-ray, and I think even 4K. They're doing 4K UHD releases of Roland films, which frankly shocks me that we're now seeing him on 4K. But I think the availability of really good versions of these films has allowed people to kind of reassess and reevaluate them as filmmakers. So.
Yeah, and to jump back to the Discord a little bit, on almost every channel that I manage, people are asking, where do I submit wish list requests? Because it's a kind of an open secret that Deaf Crocodile is very receptive to ideas. And the best place is the Discord. I mean, you can send them anywhere. Like, they all make it to the list eventually. But the Discord, you're most likely to get a very specific response from either Dennis and Craig, like, that's on the list, that's not on the list, never heard of that, looking into it, never going to happen, what have you. But if you want that real-time feedback, the Discord is the way to go.
And we just updated our contact page on the website as well. So now it's got a pull down for like why you're contacting us, and one of the options is film suggestions. So those will get routed to the right person immediately.
If you join the Discord, you can join the train of people trying to get Dennis to leak titles early.
That's what I was going to say. That's I think my favorite part of the Discord is everyone just ragging on Dennis, trying to get him to leak information. It's fun.
I've become the mole in the ministry.
The fact that it's not uncommon either, that you will just accidentally let something slip, and it's genuinely accidentally. Usually, it's like, oh wait, I thought we'd already talked about this. No, well, there it is.
Which ones we revealed and which ones we didn't. Too many movies to keep track of all that stuff. I do find it really funny though that often people will, through sheer kismet or coincidence, ask us or suggest a film that either we have been pursuing for many years or that we have literally just licensed, like within the past week or two.
Yeah,
I have to wonder, like, did they
there's been a few times,
email, or like, how do they know?
Times, there's been a few times on the Discord where someone suggested something that we have already signed, and I bite my lip and don't say anything, but I'm just like, well, they're going to be very happy.
I got really lucky for the first time with Antenna. That happened this week. Somebody DM'd me and said, hey, if you haven't heard of this movie, you'd probably like it. And I'm like, we've had that signed for about 5 months, just haven't announced it. This is amazing.
Nice.
Fabulous. Speaking of revelations, we got to reveal our entire upcoming 6 months of our subscription. We've covered most of that, but I'm more curious now to see how you guys have responded. Everybody's response to those responses. Anyways, the announcements and everybody's overall response. How are we feeling about the excitement level? Anything shocking that seems more anticipatory for some people?
I was surprised how excited people got about Passage. I thought that one would be a little bit more under the radar, but there seemed to be a lot of excitement about that one. Not surprisingly, Toei anime Frankenstein has a lot of people pretty excited. Those are the two that jumped out at me.
Yeah, Frankenstein absolutely exploded the moment it launched, and a lot of people had the same follow-up question that we've got a no comment on, but also not.
I'm amazed that no one Frankenstein was, I think, the one title that no one guessed.
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising. Because on the Discord, we're semi-convinced that one or two members have hacked our emails.
Mm-hmm.
And like every single title, so 12 titles, 11 of them were guessed in the Discord as to what we were releasing. Frankenstein was the only one that no one ever guessed. Which that clever person probably didn't guess because they didn't want us to think they had hacked our emails.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty
Possible
smart.
deniability.
Yeah, that's true.
Dennis, any reactions? Soda Pop Joe, maybe?
A lot of people excited about that, about our 5th Patushko title, Scarlet Sails. I have to say, I'm super excited that we're putting out Avid Leon Goren's Hayap Ka. And
I think that one's probably the one that's flown the most under the radar in the list.
Agreed.
That is a really great movie.
It's really great.
I don't know if people are just looking at the visuals and thinking it was a kids movie. Like, it's not a kids movie. It's a telenovela for adults. It's fantastic. So I hope people don't sit on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Avid has said he feels it's the first adult animated film made in the Philippines, and not adult in the sense of like NC-17, because it isn't. But it is about very adult themes, and it's a comedy, but it is a romance and a melodrama, and it's really about people making difficult and maybe even wrong choices in their love lives and then having to live those down. And it's really, really great movie. And coincidentally, the Fantasia Festival in Montreal just announced that they're going to be premiering Avid's new film, which we are super excited to see ourselves, Zaza Zaterna, which is based on a much-loved cult comic book in the Philippines. So we are really eager to see that ourselves because we loved his work on Hayap Ka and Saving Sally so much. And we do have a short, like a teaser trailer for Zaza Zaterna that will be on the disc. I just let something slip about our bonus features. There we go. I did it again.
The Hayap Ka, and to give you some example that it's not for kids, is Hayap Ka, we were initially told translates to you animal. But I've asked a couple of my Filipino friends, and I looked online and did a translation, and everyone told me that it means you son of a bitch.
Heck yeah.
Maybe they were softening it a bit.
Sure.
Those rascals.
Those rascals.
The other one that I think is going to absolutely blow people's minds, and this whole series so far has done extremely well for us, is The Treasures of Soviet Animation. And Volume 4 is Roman Davidov's The Adventures of Mowgli. And I have to say, like, scene for scene, animation cell for animation cell, it is one of the most spectacularly beautiful and visually stunning films I have ever seen. It's, I think Marcel Yankovic is maybe the only competition in terms of other animated features we've put out where the visuals are just so glorious in The Adventures of Mowgli. So I think people are going to.
I still have two other films to restore before I get to that one, but I'm itching to get to that one. Like, I can't wait to start working on that.
Yeah. No, it is one of those movies where you can freeze frame it, and literally every shot is so absolutely ravishing that you almost feel like you're like a little high watching it because it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, I kind of was a little bummed we didn't have better images to share when we were announcing the titles, because I was like, that film's getting shortchanged.
Yeah. We'll see soon enough. That was another one where, I know enough about this kind of animation to know that people are going to get excited about the Snow Queen. People are going to get excited about Hedgehog in the Fog. But I was pleasantly surprised to hear how many people comment that they saw The Adventures of Mowgli when they were a kid. And it was almost something that was like a dream that they had. They couldn't even remember where they saw it, but it just left such an impression on them. And there was always a lot of the comments had the same theme of, I never thought I'd get to see it again. So I was real pleasantly surprised. I thought that one was going to be more high up Kyle level enthusiasm in terms of people's like, I don't know what this is, but boy, a lot of people knew what it was. That's great.
That's awesome. Well, we got two to deep dive into today that are coming out in July for subscribers and, of course, available to the general public. Gentlemen, any preference on which you'd like to speak on first?
We could talk about Jan S. Kolar, if you'd like.
Let's do it.
So Jan S. Kolar was one of the pioneering figures in Czech cinema. In the late teens and the 20s, he was a very prolific and acclaimed screenwriter and filmmaker, and then later in his career turned to acting and was a groundbreaking film historian who helped to preserve and save a lot of the early works of Czech silent cinema, including some of his own films. And we're including two features of his, and I think the wilder and the most jaw-dropping of the two is The Arrival from the Darkness from 1921. And it is this absolutely insane occult story about a rabid book collector who's played by Theodore Pistek, who is given an ancient manuscript, and he translates it and uses it to revive his long dormant ancestor from the 16th century, who, after he awakes, tries to steal the book collector's wife, thinking she's the reincarnation of his long lost love. And it packs so much into barely an hour of running time, including the Black Plague and black magic rituals and medieval alchemy and time travel. And it really is one of the most astonishing and entertaining silent films I have seen in years. I think people are going to absolutely fall in love with it when they see it. And then the second feature, which was actually the last feature film he directed, is this sweeping medieval epic about the life of Saint Wenceslas, who was a prince in 10th century Bohemia and later became a saint. And it is in the vein of some of the kind of amazing Soviet epics that we've released, like Ilya Muromets, or Ruslan and Ludmilla, or Alexander Nevsky, for people who are familiar with that. And it was the most expensive and ambitious Czech movie made at the time. And it had, unfortunately, the bad luck to be produced just at the changeover between silent and sound cinema. and by the time it was finished, movie theaters had already started converting to sound cinema, and audiences only really wanted to see kind of newfangled sound films. And so it was a big flop when it came out, and pretty much, I think, ended his career as a filmmaker, which is really a shame. And we have a number of his short films, which amazingly survive in the collection of the Narodny Film Archive, who are our partners on this release. But his career continued for several decades after that, like I said, as a film historian and as an actor in Czech cinema. So I'm really glad that this release kind of shines a light on one of the really important figures in Czech cinema, in a way like we did with our release last October of Alrane and the Student of Prague by pioneering German director and screenwriter Henrik Galeen. So it's one of the things we do love to do is to kind of, hopefully put a focus or shine a light on some of these unjustly overlooked figures.
Yes, and you've done that very, very often, thankfully. And
he mentioned there's a number of shorts on there. Between the shorts and the incredibly cool short documentary that's on that disc, it's almost 2 hours of shorts and extras.
Which are the length of St. Wenceslas, I think.
Yeah, it's there's like
a third feature.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra stuff on there. And the absolute coolest thing, I think, is this, it's 23 minutes. Let me check. 23-minute documentary made in 1954. That is it's called How We Used to Make Movies or something similar to that. And it's a documentary about the silent era of Czech cinema, and it's full of behind the scenes of these silent films being made. It's footage and stuff that you just never see. It's absolutely incredible. So
it's not clips from the films.
No, it's workers putting the sets together, and it's kind of incredible.
And a number of the films that are included there, the movies themselves no longer exist. But they managed in the 1950s to somehow preserve and compile this behind-the-scenes footage of the making of the films. And it's just glorious to watch.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
This set will also continue our silent film release tradition of having absolutely stunning new paintings by Dave McKean. For each title, he did a painting. They're just it's freaking Dave McKean, man. It's incredible. The fact that he continues to say, "Yep, I'll do that for our releases," is just kind of unreal. So yeah, the paintings he did, once again, like he did for Alrane and Student of Prague, he did 2 paintings for St. Wenceslas and Arrival in the Darkness, and they're just stunning. For those listening to the podcast, Ryan literally had his mouth hanging open and had nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean, the art here is so, I don't know. If you got the Alrane and the Student of Prague limited edition, it is enough to blow you away. And these are, dare I say, like for me, these are a little more exciting even than those. I have loved everything that he has done so far, but man,
visually that St. Wenceslas painting is jaw-dropping.
It's really gorgeous.
It is so good. I cannot wait to hold one of these and just marvel at it. Dave McKean is like otherworldly.
And speaking of the Discord, somebody just posted a very cool video.
Yeah.
Of Dave McKean talking about working on illustrating a Strugatsky Brothers book. Like, I was like, oh, that's worlds colliding once again.
Wow.
But yeah, the man is amazing, just amazing.
Well, and in addition to the behind the scenes compilation, we have 4 short films directed by Kolar. Polycarp's Winter Adventure is the earliest, from 1917.
Jeez.
And it was shot, most of the short is shot outdoors in the winter in Prague, where you see, this is from the era of World War One. And you're seeing this incredible outdoor location footage of Prague in the winter, huge snowbanks, and of course, much of the city no longer looks like that. So just from a documentary historical perspective, it's an incredible portrait of long gone Prague. And then we have the Oriental Languages Teacher, which is co-directed by Kolar and Olga Rautenkrantz-Ova. And she is the first Czech female director, and this is the earliest surviving film directed or co-directed by a female filmmaker in Czechoslovakia. So for that reason alone, it's historically really valuable. And then we have 2 others, The Lady with the Small Foot, which is a kind of Louis Fouillade style detective thriller fantasy, half an hour. It's actually quite long, from 1919, and The Torn Photograph. And then just because we couldn't resist, we threw in a very short fragment of an incredible film called The Wedding Shirt. And it was not directed by Kolar, but it was co-directed by Theodore Pistek, who is the lead actor in The Arrival from the Darkness. So there is a connection to Arrival. And it's unfortunately the only footage that survives from this incredibly haunting Czech silent horror film, which from the surviving 4 minutes is like on par with Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. It's really gorgeous. So we were really fortunate to get new music composed for all of these shorts, as well as for the feature St. Wenceslas by Ben Modell, who is a highly acclaimed silent film composer and accompanist, and also a very highly regarded historian and author who is recently published a very well-regarded book on silent cinema. So Ben composed all new music for all of the shorts, as well as for St. Wenceslas for this release. And for Arrival from the Darkness, there is a really amazing experimental music score by a film trio who perform with silent movies called, I hope I'm getting this right, Neuve Ritelno is the name of the trio, and they do a really striking,
it's a pretty cool score,
experimental score for Arrival. Yeah, it's really good. Not your typical silent film score at all.
Yeah, there's a heavy contrast both in the score and talking about all the features and so forth. It's just want to go back to just what an incredible contrast it is between The Arrival from the Darkness as a movie and St. Wenceslas as a movie. You have, starting at the beginning of the 20s, 1921, 1 hour genre. Within seconds, someone's bringing in an occult book into the house. There's no wind up whatsoever. They're just like throwing that first punch right from the first couple seconds. And then you have this beautiful, sweeping epic with dozens of important characters and palace intrigue and cross and double cross and the intersection between paganism and the old customs versus the intersection of Christianity. And then you get that the back and forth between the sort of abstract music score versus Ben Modell's incredible piano scores and so forth. And it's such a beautiful contrast. It almost feels like you're looking at the entire span of like Czech silent film, it sort of compressed.
I love the compilations that we are getting here when you start looking at all the short films and combined with these, the 0 to 100 nature of some of these films just make it a little more entertaining and quick. I love nights like that. So we've talked about those extras. What other extras we got on the disc there, Mr. Dennis?
So we have a beautiful booklet with essays by film historian Jan Christopher Horak, who has a long and illustrious career with the Munich Film Museum, where he was head for a number of years, with the George Eastman House, and with UCLA Film and TV Archive. He contributed an essay, as well as Walter Chaw, who writes, brilliantly for all of our releases. And then we have a new audio commentary by film historian Peter Hames, and our dear friend and partner on all of our Czech film releases, Irena Kovarova of Comeback Company in New York City. And I can't give enough credit to Irena. Honestly, I don't think we would be able to release any of the Czech films that we have without her guidance and wonderful connections. And also a huge thank you to our great friends with the Narodny Film Archive in Prague, who have done such amazing work to preserve and to disseminate these films. You will see, there is a big difference in the image quality between Arrival from the Darkness and St. Wenceslas. Arrival is kind of amazing that it survives at all, but it does have kind of more wear and tear, and St. Wenceslas, from the end of the silent era, was much better preserved. And I think Kolar was actually still alive when St. Wenceslas was preserved, and so he was able to kind of oversee and be involved with that. But it's even more amazing that the other short films survive, and that so much of Jan Kolar's work is still available for us to watch, over 100 years later, in the case of the early short films like Polycarp's Winter Adventure, which is, was made in 1917.
That is a lot.
Yeah,
Man.
I mean, everything on that disc is over 100 years old except for St. Wenceslas.
I was just trying to think
And
if there was something mentioned that was younger, but yeah, that is true.
No, 1917, 18, 20, 21, 25.
Yep.
Yeah, these aren't youngsters.
And this is only the second of these classic silence collections coming from Deaf Crocodile. The first one, obviously, Arane and the Student of Prague had a pretty incredible reaction from everybody. How are you thinking people are going to respond to this one? Because János Kolar is not a common name for people to think of for silent film.
Chris, do you have any thoughts?
Again, you never know when you drop something like that doesn't sort of have people already talking about it. But
yeah,
again, I think also people were just are really primed after how much so many people enjoyed Aurane and the Student of Prague, that there is that sort of trust level of if you think I should see these silent films, I should probably see these silent films. But I think there's probably a fairly underserved silent film fanatic, fan base out there who is going to find out about this and get very excited about it, and that's pretty thrilling to know.
Well, and we like to, kind of go for silent films that are in that kind of sweet spot for Deaf Crocodile, which is really the intersection between art house and genre filmmaking. And definitely both Arrival from the Darkness and St. Wenceslas kind of fit that mode. I mean, they have some incredible surreal imagery in a wonderful art house way, but then they're both genre films. Arrival from the Darkness is an occult mystery, time travel, black magic mashup, and St. Wenceslas is a kind of sweeping historical epic. Kind of there are incredible battle sequences and knights in armor on horseback, and it is really impressive. So we also have a. Oh, go ahead.
I suspect these, especially after Alrani and Student of Prague, people outside of our usual fan base that are more silent film buffs perked up and were like, hey, somebody else is releasing silent films, because there's not a ton of places where silent film fans can go to get more material. So hopefully, some more of those people will tune in and be like, oh, like they've got another set coming out, and we'll keep putting them out.
Well, and we are big fans of the labels out there that have been putting out incredible silent releases. Flicker Alley does amazing work. Kino Lorber, Eureka Masters of Cinema has done fantastic releases. But there's so much amazing silent film. And the great thing is, with the success of Alrane and Student of Prague, and hopefully this will do very well, that we are already looking at and discussing silent film releases for 2027 and beyond. So we just hope that it inspires people to go out there and start searching out some of these rarities from filmmakers that have possibly slipped through the cracks. And I have to say, the encouraging thing is there are a few people on the Discord who, when we announced it, had already seen Arrival from the Darkness and were raving about it. So that's great. I think,
yes, if there's more very cool genre silent cinema, you just go to contact us and film suggestion, send it to us.
Amazing. Did want to shout out to Ben Modell's own wonderful Undercrank Productions.
I was going to say that too, yeah.
On that note, speaking of sweeping battle scenes, why don't we make a trip over to Cat City?
Oh boy.
Heck yeah.
Yes. Cat City and Cat City 2 Cat Catcher are, God, that is a mouthful when you say it all together.
Technically, I think it's Catcher, Cat City 2.
See, that's
why
why
we use it as a vocal warm-up
exercise.
Catcher, Cat City 2. Catcher, Cat City 2.
And it's one of those. It's one of those deals where the title they gave it in English makes less sense than if we just translated what the title really was.
Right.
Yep.
Right, but it's a little it's a little complicated because Max Kafogo, which is the Hungarian title for the first film, actually
isn't Cat City either.
No, it's not Cat City. It actually translates essentially as Cat Catcher. But they decided to call it Cat City. So the Hungarian title for the sequel, Max Kafogo 2, is, and I'm not even going to attempt to verbalize the second part of the title, but basically it's Cat Catcher, the Cat of Satan, or Satan's Cat. And in the English version, that became Catcher, Cat City 2. So, and Craig, in fact, even asked me, he goes, This
So
isn't.
I was checking the
This isn't,
subtitles.
this
So
isn't a translation of the Hungarian
the title comes up, and I can see even in Hungarian. I'm like, yeah, that says Satan. like this is Satan's cat.
Catcher, cat of Satan. It's like, yeah, no, that we usually, we abide by what the official English title chosen by the producers or distributors were, and in this case, it's known as Cat City 2.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, the from the Diva fairy tale set, the devil's 3 golden hairs or something. That's not even remotely the translation of the title.
No, nowhere near, nowhere close. Nope.
That one at least lines up with the story, though. But
Yeah, at least.
Nope. Nowhere close.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah. So these are 2 wonderful Hungarian animated sci-fi cat, mouse, rat comedies / musicals / satires. They were both directed by Bela Ternovsky, who was, one of the most acclaimed and creative directors who came out of the Pannonia Film Studio, which was the famous animation powerhouse in Hungary for many, many years. And the original Cat City, which we're reissuing as part of this, came out in 1986 and has gone on to become one of the most beloved kind of animated cult films in Hungarian cinema. It's known throughout Europe. They do, outdoor screenings of it in Budapest, and thousands of people show up. But it's really tremendous. And it had been out of print for a little while, and we knew that there was a sequel, and it took a little while, but we managed to track down the producers of the sequel, which came out in 2007. And the great thing about the sequel is it's one of those rare animated, sequel films where the characters have been allowed to age in line with the gap of time between the
it's
two
been
films.
like 20 years since the first film, so all the characters that have come back are 20 years older.
They're 20 years older. And it gives a real sort of bittersweet real life feeling, because you're used to watching animated films like every one of the Snoopy and Peanuts movies. Well, the kids, Charlie Brown and Lucy and Linus and Snoopy, they never age. But in this, they are 20 years older. So Nick Grabowski, who is the former secret agent, runs an organic spinach farm, and he's kind of paunchier. And Mr. Teufel, who is the Iron Pod villain from the original, is also kind of older and creakier. But it's really delightful, and it's great to be able to pair the 2 films together. And Cat City 2 has never come out here in the U.S. before, so it's never been available. So it's great that we're able to have the 2 of them as a set.
It is. This is one that I am quite excited for. Loved the release of Cat City, and just adds to our catalog for animated cat films. This is always exciting to see.
It is. It didn't start intentionally.
But now it is intentional.
But honestly, I think once we had 2, we're like, all right, we need to get every animated cat movie that's ever been made.
Well, and now we're putting out 2 back-to-back with actually 3, because we're reissuing the first Cat City. So we have the Cat City collection, the 2 films, and then Hayab Ka, which comes out the next month, which has a feline heroine for Hayab Ka. So
amazing.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of interspecies communications. You have the mice versus the cats in Cat City, and you have dogs and cats in Hayab Ka. So everyone's all kind of hanging out, and there's some interesting things in Cat City about the difference between like mice and rats and the sort of social distinctions. And I also love between parts 1 and part 2. both of them are kind of about power in an interesting way, and who has the power and what they do with the power. And without giving anything away, at the end of Cat City 1, well, you can say that certain aspects of power are transferred elsewhere. And then as you come into Cat City 2, you realize that the people who maybe didn't have the power and now do have the power are not necessarily better stewards of the power than the original people. And that can't be unintentional.
That's usually how power works.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, I've seen enough things from Pannonia Studios to think that was in the air as well. But no, I would definitely recommend watching the two sort of back to back, because there really is a lot of cool interconnections, especially for being like 20, 30, 40 some odd years between the two of them. Like you said, not only is there the aging, but also sort of aspects of, the old machinery not working as well as it used to, and people kind of moving on to other professions. And it really does give you this sort of very rich world for what, could, in the wrong hands just be kind of like a Ralph Bakshi, crazy stereotypes and, weird songs kind of thing. But it's a lot more than that.
And there's so much like visual just gorgeousness. When I had to go through the film and I did pulling stills to give to our graphic designer, and we use them for press and everything else. So going through the film, pulling stills, and like I was like, I got up to like 50 stills I pulled, because it was like every time I saw something that looked cool, I stopped and I pulled the frame.
Gorgeous.
And I was like, this film is so full of imagery that's just mind-blowing.
I have to say the kind of uber villain in Cat City 2 is this ancient feline demon called Moloch. And Moloch,
he's very cool.
Moloch is really cool. In fact, he looks a little bit like one of the creatures from Roman Davidov's The Adventures of Mowgli. He's a little bit like Bagheera, the panther. I just realized that, and I wonder if Bela Tarnowski was a fan of Davidov's work on The Adventures of Mowgli, because the Moloch is incredibly kind of fluid and sleek and enormous. And there's again, not to give it away, but there is a great battle at the end that is clearly an homage to Japanese kaiju movies of the Godzilla Gamera vein. And there's tons of kind of affectionate in-jokes and references in both films to a lot of things from pop culture and other animated films.
Yeah,
that's one of the super fun things, actually.
Yeah, they have some fun with Disney for sure in this one.
Yes,
as well as Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of visual gags throughout.
Yeah.
There's also a really neat seesaw between, especially in the first one, but definitely in the second one as well. Like, it never settles, and I think in a good way, it never settles on whether the violence hurts or not. Like, there's, certain characters get, mangled, say, by, Mr. Ironclaw, I can't think of his name. Oh, Teufel. But then other things will get splatted just like a Warner Brothers cartoon, and will just be like flat as a pancake. And so it really throws not only a lot of different styles at you, but it asks you to sort of like, okay, which of these things actually hurts and which doesn't? And are we going to be cartoony cute? Are we going to be extremely violent? And it never settles on a thing, which I think keeps you really sort of interested and engaged in it.
And I think we're taking for granted that a lot of the people who buy this have already seen the initial, the original Cat City. If you haven't seen the original Cat City, wow, are you in for a treat? There's a reason why it is such a beloved cult film in Hungary. It is really fantastic. It's just so much fun. And it's got some of the most bizarre and jaw-dropping musical numbers. The one with the vampire bats is
we are definitely going to be pulling the Four Gangsters theme song.
It's
man,
so great.
it just is relentless. It's so good.
Yeah. So, I have an interview as part of the bonus features that I was very fortunate to do with Bela Tarnowski from his home in Budapest. We're talking about the two films, in particular Cat City 2. And, it was more difficult because the first one was produced while Pannonia Film Studios was still in operation. And so like the age of the great studios in the U.S., like Warner Brothers or Universal or Fox in the 30s and 40s, it provided a home and a structure and a financing that allowed all of these animators to do wonderful short films and features. And then after that system collapsed, it really was catch as catch can and going out and trying to raise finance wherever you could. And that was the system under which Cat City 2 was made. You also see a lot of differences, stylistically and in terms of the technology. You start to see use of some digital animation, although thankfully most of it is still, was done kind of old school analog. But there's definitely, you can see the changes in
he had said in the
animation
interview
between the two. Yeah,
he had said in the interview that they all the base drawings were done by hand and then it was finished digitally. But we've mentioned this before in the past, that the old Soviet system, they had to deal with the censorship of content, but they were free to make pretty much anything they wanted, and the economics or the commercial viability of it was not a consideration. So that's why they were able to make so many short films and make the other things that were a little more unusual, because they didn't have to worry about the commercial end of it. And then once the Soviet Union collapses, now they don't have the content censorship, but they've got the censorship of it needs to be commercially viable and we need to be able to raise money to make it or we can't make it.
It's the censorship of the market.
So it's a different pair of handcuffs.
Yes. Yeah. And Tarnowski talks about that when I interviewed him. And that's also, I think a great reason to look at the two films back to back and consider the systems under which they were made, and that they satirize, because they are both very satirical films. They're very affectionate. They're comedies and they're musicals, and they're really incredibly silly and great fun. But they've got a lot of barbed points to make, and in some ways you kind of need to watch them more than once and read up a little bit about the political situation in Hungary under which they were made to really start to appreciate just how pointed some of their satirical jabs are.
Well, speaking of that, how are we explaining that on our disc and in our essays, Dennis?
Well, the first disc has all of the bonus features that we had released with our original Cat City, and that's 3 animated shorts by Bela Tarnowski from the 1970s. There's a video interview with our dear friend Georgi Raduli, who's the director of the National Film Institute Film Archive, talking about the history of Hungarian animation and how Cat City fits into it. There's a commentary track by film historian Sam Deegan that's really fantastic. And then there's several documentaries that were produced by the National Film Institute about the making of Cat City. And then for the sequel, as I mentioned, there's the new video interview that I did with the director, Bela Tarnowski. There's a 48-page booklet, which includes new essays by film critics Dan Schindel and our great friend Walter Chaw. there's a new audio commentary by filmmaker and animator Dorian Sayce. It's the first time Dorian has contributed, and brings a great wealth of knowledge and expertise on the techniques and the art of animation, because Dorian is an animator as well as a filmmaker and commentator. And then we have a wonderful new visual essay by film historian Evan Chester, who has contributed to a number of our releases, that compares the two films and the conditions under which they were made. So I think there's a lot of kind of supplementary material to give context to both of these films, both the original one and Cat City 2.
Incredible. The discs here are overloaded with things. The last time that we put out one of these, expanded editions was Pied Piper, came with the original disc, and now you got literally a bounty of more features to make this all worthwhile. I am excited to see everything that comes with the disc. I haven't seen most of it. Craig, what about Cat? Cat Catcher, Cat City 2? Is that?
Just call it Cat City 2.
Okay. Cat City Dose. What about Cat City Dose are you most excited about?
I just love animated films. Like I said, I just checked, and I 54 stills I pulled because I couldn't. I kept stumbling on the next incredible image. It's great that there is that fun feeling of catching up with these characters from the other film. And it does feel more like catching up with them after time because they have aged. So it gives a different feeling than instead of watching. If everyone was the same age, it would feel more like I'm just watching another story that took place back in 1986 or whatever. But because they aged them, it feels like, well, they've been through a lot since then too,
And they still have to do these same jobs or come back for these jobs. And, especially if you have to fight and now your waistline's a little wider and your fur is a little thinner. And, it does add a little sort of layer of profundity to it, I think.
And honestly, the interview that Dennis did with the director for Cat City 2 is full of really interesting tidbits. One being that apparently the lead character originally was supposed to be a robot, and apparently there's still aspects of that in the original Cat City movie that if you knew that, you'd be like, oh, that makes sense now. Why? I guess he has something that comes out of his chest in one scene, and that was because he was originally supposed to be a robot. He said RoboCop was out at the time, and they really liked the idea of him being a robot. It's a really interesting interview.
Well, and I have to say, just the fact that they kind of stuck to their guns and made a film in which all of the anthropomorphic animal cartoon characters were allowed to age 20 years. I mean, I think that shows Bela Tarnowski and his collaborators kind of personalities, and because that's not a commercial decision that I think the financiers would have probably been like, oh yeah, let's make them 20 years older. That's going to attract a lot more people. They were probably scratching their head saying, why do you want to do this? But clearly that's one of the things that got Tarnowski and his colleagues excited about revisiting these characters after 2 decades. And he talks about it was very difficult to get finance for any projects, but because the original Cat City was so beloved and had become very successful and played over and over again that they were able to raise finance to make a sequel. But I think it's like, if I'm going to revisit these characters, I have to do it in a way that makes it really creatively challenging and interesting for me. And that's one of the things I really like about Cat City 2 compared to the original.
Now you're making me want 20-year-on sequels for all of our animated cat films.
I would like to see a sequel to Felidae.
I was about to say that.
So would I. Oh my god. Blaubart and Francis, like, I could watch a dozen films with the two of them.
I know, and in fact, there are a number of books that were written in the series, but because the author of the books that Felidae, the first one, was adapted from, has made a lot of really crazy right-wing statements in Germany, anti-immigrant, and he has become sort of persona non grata in German literary circles and society at large. So
we had
that they're ever going to.
We had trouble convincing them to.
Oh yeah, they didn't want to
license us this film for a restoration. There's no way nobody's going to make a new movie.
Yeah. And when Felidae came out, I don't think it did very well. So even though it now has this wonderful reputation,
they also marketed it to kids. I mean, they had walkouts in the theaters. Not surprisingly. I mean, they find a disemboweled cat in like the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Cats having sex on screen.
I don't even know if it takes 5 minutes, Craig.
Yeah, that's true. When I said 10, I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's 10.
Oh my God. Oh no. And they introduce one of this weirdest characters who then almost immediately thereafter is found decapitated.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those truly horrifying moments where you're like,
it's an amazing movie, but it is so not for kids.
So scarred for life.
Who came up with the idea of let's market this for kids? I hope they lost their job.
I know. It is a shame because a whole series of Felidae movies would be so wonderful. And they're never going to do it.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I don't. It's 20 years later. There's Tamala 2010 and then Tamala 2030. So
I was just going to say, let's get 20 years. Tamala 2075, man. Let's keep it going.
Although I don't know if she ages.
It is kind of amazing when you see these filmmakers who are allowed to revisit these stories after a number of years. And I just realized that we actually are putting out 2 sequel films from several decades later. First Cat City 2 and then Tamala 2030, which, we've had a number of people asking about it. Yes, it's absolutely coming out through us, and it's going to come out in early 2027. Producers are going to be releasing the film in Japan early in the year, and they really wanted us to coordinate our release plans with theirs. So we pushed back. Initially, we were hoping to have it out this year and before the end of 2026, but now it's going to come out early in 2027. And it absolutely is worth the wait. Anyone who was lucky enough to see it at one of the world genre festivals it played at, Tamala 2030, A Punk Cat in Dark, is absolutely as amazing as the first film, if not even more so. So it will definitely be worth your wait.
Well, not to put you on the spot, but speaking of sequels, are we going to be getting Benny Shower at any point?
I wish.
I love that.
I wish we love Benny's bathtub. We love Benny's bathtub. Oh,
maybe Benny's.
That is one of people ask us, are there any films that you've put out that maybe didn't get the love that you thought they should? Benny's bathtub is really fantastic Danish psychedelic undersea musical adventure. It's really, really delightful. Take a chance on Benny's bathtub. While you still can, while we still have rights to it, please. It's really a delightful movie. So I don't think there's any animated kitties in it though, but there are.
Nope.
Like drunken skeletons and topless mermaids and all sorts of shenanigans going on under the waves.
And a bird watcher who is not a pedophile.
Not a pedophile. It is a really crazy movie. We like Benny's Bathtub a lot. So,
Well, on that note, before we come in for a landing, Chris, anything not Deaf Crocodile related that you have taken part in recently that you want to recommend or talk about or brag about or promote or anything?
Good question. This is very far afield from the home video market, but I am also the producer on a trucking safety podcast called Truckloads of Money. You can find it on YouTube. It is a podcast for AIST Safety, which is a trucking safety organization. If you want to see your boy doing 3-camera shoots over there on YouTube, that is the place to go. Other than that, I don't know. Chicago people, if you see me at the Music Box, come say hi, man. I would love to meet you. I got to talk to a few people when we screened Bubble Bath as part of their Animation Adventures series, and I believe we have possibly another one coming up soon in that series, which is exciting. I feel like I kind of got a whole new admiration for the animation community. I mean, I know people like animated films, but there was a whole lot of people out at midnight who just had green sparks coming out of their eyes with excitement over Bubble Bath, and it's pretty exciting to see. So yeah, and I'm at this Music Box all the dang time. So if you recognize me from my profile photo, just tap me on the shoulder and say howdy, and we'll talk about Benny's Bathtub.
Make friends with Chris. I can attest he's more than happy to drive 80 minutes to help you move. So that'd be...
Yeah, that was...
And all I ask in return is a turkey sandwich.
It was crazy that you were on the road longer than you were actually doing the movie.
Yeah. Rockford doesn't feel that far away to me. Yeah.
Well, it was much appreciated.
It was fun. Yeah. In its way.
It was a good time.
Yes.
In its way.
Yeah.
Well, both of the July titles are up for pre-order now. We got more to talk about throughout the year. Obviously, we know about all of the titles coming since we've revealed those on social media, but it will be fun to discuss. But as per usual, Deaf Crocodile has lots of surprises already waiting in the wings. And if you tap Dennis on the shoulder just right, you might hear one of them every once in a while.
Oh, jeez. That's why sign up for a subscription, and then you too can try to get me to, make a slip of the tongue and reveal what's coming out in March 2028.
By the time they hear this, the subscriptions are closed, but you can still get a membership and get in the Discord.
That's right.
There you go. Yeah. And you can buy in at an amount that will get you the next subscription. So, hey, you can already prep. Look at that.
Or you go get the cheapest ones, $50, and you instantly get $50 credit. So it doesn't really cost you anything, and you get the
free.
Discord.
Why not?
You get the Discord, you get the members only shop in the store. So
basically, movie escrow.
Incredible. Movie Escrow is probably the name of a podcast that 3 white men host somewhere.
I wanted to promote one more thing. I'll be on Movie Escrow next week, so I forgot all about it. Sorry. Like and subscribe.
Movie Escrow, the podcast where Chris buys old movie properties and sits on them and flips them to young parents.
It is great that we've expanded this to 4 white men talking about movies, though. So
we're
a little different. We're
absolutely unprecedented in podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the light hits just right, we also have the 4 different stages of hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and why is it the oldest of us has the most hair?
I'm going to lose it now, Ryan. Wow. I was on the verge a couple times early on, but now I really have lost it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us this month. We cannot wait to record next month and see what other random BS I'll spout. Be safe, and we shall.
For some reason, I do think Chris being part of it's more like Hollywood Squares. I keep looking for Paul Lynde in the center square, but it is, for some reason, I'm having a hard time.
You fools!
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.